Welcome into another edition of Mavs Latest. I am Josyah Howard, and as we all know, the Mavericks have been losing assistant coaches left and right as the offseason has begun. Obviously, losing Sean Sweeney to the Spurs, losing God Shamgod to the Orlando Magic, and now losing Jared Dudley to the Denver Nuggets. First of all, congratulations to all these guys for getting big opportunities across the league. And it seems like this is starting to become a trend across the league, which has been great in terms of people that have been putting in the work for years finally seeing that work being paid off. And especially somebody like Jared Dudley, who began coaching pretty much right after his NBA career ended, and somebody that's committed to that profession so early on. I mean, kudos to him because he could have took the time and chilled out for a while. He could have done anything he wanted to do, but he decided he wanted to stay on the bench as a coach, and he put in the work and he put in the time. And congrats to him and congrats to Denver because they're getting a great guy. And I just want to read Jared Dudley's message to Dallas on Instagram after the news breaking, but he said, "Words can't even describe how thankful I am for being able to coach for the Dallas Mavericks for these last 4 years. I want to take the time to say thank you to Coach Kidd and Nico, obviously speaking of Nico Harrison, for giving me the opportunity to coach here, literally going straight from playing in my 14th season in the NBA to coaching onto the front of the bench. Also had the privilege of learning from so many different coaches along the way. Want to give a special shout out to Coach Sean Sweeney for helping me on my journey. He helped me become a better coach, and I really appreciate it. Lastly, to the fans and the players, it's been a fun ride. Good luck to y'all both. Got to watch some and coach some of the best players to ever play this game: Luca, Kyrie, AD, Clay Thompson, Brunson, and others. Thank you, Dallas, with the praying hands at the end. And again, kudos to Jared Dudley for frankly getting an opportunity he deserves, and it's been great to see a lot of these coaches move on to better spots in the league. And I mean, it seems like it's mainly the Mavericks that are getting poached here, but also wanted to just give a little shout out. LeBron James giving Jared Dudley his flowers on his new position with the Denver Nuggets, excuse me. Um, and he goes on to say, "Congrats, my brother. Well deserved, Jared Dudley." So, love that. Love when everybody in the league could give flowers to honestly somebody that deserves this opportunity. And I can't say it enough. Congrats, Jared Dudley. Love what you've been doing in the league as a coach. And again, you deserve the next step and the next chapter. But now, with losing Jared Dudley, eyes have been moving on to Phil Handy. Obviously, a well known player development coach, worked with the Lakers. Obviously, while Jason Kidd was there, while Frank Vogel was there, while Anthony Davis was there. Um, I like this fit with them. Looks like the Knicks are also available, are interested in his availability. Surprise, surprise. But I love Phil Handy to the Mavericks just because a lot of people that are already in place already have the experience of working with Phil Handy. You lose a God Sham God, and I think Phil Handy comes right in and fills that role well. And actually, he fills that role plus some to me because he now has the experience on top of that in terms of the player development across the league that he's been a part of over these years. And obviously, Phil Handy is, when it comes to player development coaches, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. You don't typically have player development coaches where you can say their name and you know who they are. And Phil Handy's obviously one of those people. If you're a hooper, you know. So if they can bring in Phil Handy, I'm with it. I'm totally down with it. I think he actually fills that slot of not only God Sham God leaving, he fills that role, but I think he adds even more on top of that because of the added experience that he has that Shamgod honestly gained while working with the Mavericks. So again, I think that's a great target. I think good for them if they could bring in Phil Handy. And if I'm Phil Handy, I think in terms of the connections I've already made, the relationships I've already made in the league, I think the Mavericks are a no brainer. I think it's a great fit. I think it's a seamless fit, and I think it's a seamless transition. So if that's true, if that's their next target, I hope that's who they land on because again, I think seamless fit, great fit, no brainer. Don't even have to think twice about it. Um, but just another fun one. I know, anytime we bring up Luca here on Mavs latest, sometimes, sore hearts. But, you know, there's a little reunion going on internationally. Former Mavericks GM Donnie Nelson will now be joining Luka Doncic in Slovenia for uh, their run in their international basketball play. Donnie Nelson is named the special advisor for Slovenia's national team, obviously reuniting him with Luka Doncic. And I just think anytime you could bring in, obviously reported by Mark Stein, but Donnie Nelson, anytime you could bring in somebody with experience in team building, whether you're, an organization in the NBA or an international team, I think you automatically gain something there, right? And to bring in somebody that Luca is comfortable with is the number one goal, especially if you're Slovenia. So I just think it's a win-win. You bring in somebody that knows basketball and Donnie Nelson. You bring in somebody that that Luka Doncic is comfortable doing business with. So it's a no-brainer to me. And Donnie Nelson spoke a little bit about taking this role, and he said becoming a part of the Slovenian basketball team is a great honor for me. He continues to say he looks forward to working with everybody amongst the Basketball Federation of Slovenia. So he adds to say, watching Luka lead the team to a bronze medal in Tokyo, he became excited about the potential, and I can't wait to see what the Slovenian national team can achieve in the future. And I'm sincerely hope to be in Los Angeles in 2028, and I look forward to being a part of the journey. And obviously, Donnie Marshall is the executive responsible for building the 2011 championship roster. He agreed mutually to part ways with the team in 2021, ending his 24-year tenure, with the team. So nice to see a little Dallas reunion here in Slovenia with Luka and Donnie Nelson. So gonna be fun to see. I think Slovenia could be a competitive team in the 2028 Olympics. So we'll see how they stack up, how they develop heading into the 2028 Olympics. But Donnie Nelson and Luka Doncic have reunited with the Slovenian national team. But to wrap things up with some Mavs chatter, I was going through, obviously looking for some topics today, and I was reading an article on the Smoking Cuban. Noah Weber writes some good content on there. He believes that, the philosophy around Cooper Flag being the playmaker of this team has prevented them from trading for bad contracts and also just risky guards for the short-term problem that they had. So he brings up a player like Colin Sexton or Drew Holiday. They avoided getting players like that because of their vision of Cooper Flag. Now, I agree and disagree with this. I agree on the level of they view him as such a primary playmaker that they felt like they didn't have to massively invest in the position. In the other hand, or I disagree, is you still brought in somebody like a D'Angelo Russell, who obviously you get on a way better contract, so it's not necessarily a risk. You could easily get out from under the deal. but I don't think Cooper Flag necessarily shifted their mindset to not make a deal like that. I just think Cooper made them less willing to be as capped money wise in that position. I don't think it was purely a we're going to risk it for Drew Holiday because he's going to come in and play instant great defense and be an instant starter, but you have all that money. Colin Sexton, he doesn't really have that bona fide playoff experience, so you just never know. D'Angelo Russell, you have a little bit of both. He has been an all star, he has a little playoff experience, and you know what he is, and you're not paying that much for it. So there this isn't a black and white question to me. It's a very gray answer to me. I don't think it's Cooper Flag being a playmaker is why you didn't make this move. I think there's a lot of factors in it, and I think the finances are the biggest factor in it. So again, definitely a great thought process or thought exercise, I should say, but not necessarily one that I fully agree with. But to wrap up Mavs chatter, the wrap up Mavs latest today. Just wanted to catch people up on Dante Exum. Obviously, still waiting to see what the future holds on the roster after adding Dante Exum. But just a little bit of updated news at Dante Exum considered the New York Knicks before ultimately choosing to return to the Mavericks, and that was reported by Sportsnet New York. So just wanted to give a little update on Dante Exum's process in terms of choosing if he was going to return to Dallas or if there's other teams. And the other team, surprise, surprise, the New York Knicks. Seems like the New York Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks have been very connected at the hip this offseason. But this has been Mavs Latest. I hope you guys had a good 4th of July. And let's get it, y'all.